Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Hello and welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. Thanks for joining us today, Thursday, July 10th, 2025.
Let's kick things off with a quick look at what's happening out there. Weather-wise, bit of a mixed bag across the country.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like severe thunderstorms, large hail, even heavy rain are hitting the Central Plains and Midwest.
And watch out for potential flash flooding in the Carolinas, maybe stretching up into Virginia too.
Meanwhile, it's pretty dry and risky out west. Elevated fire weather concerns in the Four Corners region.
And the desert Southwest. Extreme heat warnings. Stay cool out there.
Closer to home here in Sacramento, well, it's going to be another hot one. Forecast is areas smoke with a high reaching 101 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ugh, that's smoke. Okay, let's shift gears to the markets. How did things close out yesterday?
All right, the Dow Jones finished at 44,690.87. That's up about 263 points, or 0.59%.
Okay, decent daily gain. How's the week looking for the Dow?
Well, actually down slightly for the week. Since Monday, it's lost about 112 points, so that's down 0.25%.
Gotcha. What about the S&P 500?
S&P closed at 6,277.94. A smaller gain yesterday, up just over 11 points, 0.18%.
And the week for the S&P?
That one's actually in the dream for the week, up about 19 points since Monday, so a gain of 0.30%.
Interesting divergence there. And Bitcoin? Always watching that one.
Bitcoin closed at 111,448.20. Pretty small daily change, up just $146, about 0.13%.
But the weekly trend?
Much stronger there. It's up over $3,100 since Monday. That's a gain of 2.91%. So quite a bit of upward movement this week.
Wow, okay. And finally, before we get into our main stories, let's talk baseball. The San Francisco Giants. How did they do last night?
Oof. Yeah, not great news for Giants fans, I'm afraid. They played the Philadelphia Phillies and lost pretty badly.
Oh, no. What was the score?
For an all score was 13-0.
13-0.
Ouch.
Okay, well, trying to find a silver lining here.
Well, Jesus Luzardo pitched a great game for the Phillies, obviously. He got the win. And Bryce Harper had a huge night for them, went 4 for 6 with a home run.
Right. Well, tough loss for the Giants, but hey, it's a long season. Got to bounce back.
Exactly. Okay, so let's move on from the real world updates and get into the tech stories we're tracking today from our Snarful Tech article report, The Morning Star.
Sounds good. First up, we've got a pretty bold launch from Elon Musk's company, XAI.
That's right. They've just rolled out Grok 4, and they're not being shy about it. They're claiming it's the world's most powerful AI model.
More powerful than, like, ChatGPT or Google's Gemini.
That's the claim. They're saying it outperforms rivals like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, and Anthropic's Claude on several key benchmarks.
Which benchmarks are we talking about?
Things like ARC-AGI version 1 and 2, those test advanced reasoning, and get this, something called Humanity's Last Exam.
Humanity's Last Exam. That sounds intense.
Yeah, it's designed to see if an AI can tackle problems at a PhD level. Musk himself is quoted saying Grok 4 achieves PhD levels in every subject, with no exceptions.
Wow. Okay, that's quite the statement. So what does this mean for, businesses or professionals thinking about using it? Is it accessible?
Well, that's a key point. There's a premium tier, Super Grok Heavy, that costs $300 a month. There's also a standard Super Grok for $30 a month.
$300 a month.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit. Seems like they might be aiming for larger companies with deeper pockets.
It certainly suggests that. For smaller businesses, that price point might be a barrier, even with those PhD level claims. It could push smaller players towards, more specialized or cost-effective AI solutions.
And is it fast? If it's super smart but slow, that could be an issue.
That's another interesting detail. The reports mention its output speed is around 75 tokens per second. Now that's fast, but apparently slower than some competitors.
So there's a potential trade-off. Super high accuracy maybe, but not the quickest response time. That could matter in customer service or time-sensitive analysis.
Exactly. Depends on the application, right? Is top-tier smarts worth waiting a bit longer for?
Fair point. And this launch, it's part of a bigger picture for XAI, isn't it?
Absolutely. This isn't just about one model. They're actively trying to raise $5 billion in funding.
$5 billion? Wow.
Yeah. And they have plans for this enormous supercomputer in Memphis. They're calling it Colossus, supposed to have 1 million GPUs.
1 million GPUs? That's just mind-boggling compute power.
It really is. And there are even whispers, discussions about potentially merging with Tesla.
For AI stuff, like robo-taxis?
Precisely. Musk has been very public about robotaxis being a huge part of Tesla's future value. So connecting xAI's power with Tesla's cars makes strategic sense, at least on paper.
Okay, but it hasn't all been smooth sailing for Grok.
Yeah.
There have been some controversies.
It's true. The sources mentioned the departure of ex-CEO Linda Yaccarino recently, and previous versions of Grok had issues generating problematic content.
Like what kind of content?
Well, there were instances of anti-Semitic responses, which actually led to a Turkish court blocking access. The Polish government also threatened action.
Yikes. How did Musk explain that?
His explanation was that the earlier version was, and I quote, too compliant to user prompts and too eager to please. Basically, it wasn't pushing back enough on potentially harmful requests.
So they're trying to find that balance between capability and safety. That seems to be the constant struggle in AI development.
It really is. How do you make it incredibly smart and useful without letting it go off the rails? Despite these issues, though, they've managed to secure partnerships with Oracle, Microsoft, and even Telegram to integrate Grok. So they're still pushing hard into the market.
It's a fascinating space. Okay, so while xAI is launching these powerful models, there's another battle brewing, right? Over the people building these things.
Oh, absolutely. Our next story digs into the, frankly, unprecedented talent war happening in AI, and Meta seems to be leading the charge.
Meta. So Mark Zuckerberg is trying to build up his AI teams.
Big time. He's on what the sources call an absolute hiring blitz for Meta's new superintelligence group. Their goal, build AI that's as good as, or maybe even better than, humans.
And how are they getting the talent? Just posting job ads?
Not quite. They're aggressively poaching top AI minds from their biggest competitors. We're talking Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, even Apple.
Poaching usually means offering more money, right? How much are we talking here?
The numbers are just staggering. Sources mention compensation packages worth tens of millions of dollars per year.
Tens of millions per year.
Yeah. And some reports even claim sign-on bonuses reaching over $100 million.
$100 million just to sign on. That's almost unbelievable. For someone working in tech listening right now, this must sound like a different universe.
It really underscores the insane demand for top-tier AI expertise. They're pulling out all the stops. Apparently, Zuckerberg himself is personally involved, hosting dinners, even WhatsApping potential recruits directly in a group chat called Recruiting Party A.
A WhatsApp recruiting party hosted by Zuck. Okay, that's definitely a personal touch. Who are some of the big names they've managed to snag?
Some really high-profile people. Ruming Pang, who led AI model development at Apple. Alexander Wang, the CEO of Scale AI. Daniel Gross, a well-known startup founder. Nat Friedman, the former CEO of GitHub. Plus key researchers from OpenAI and Anthropic.
Wow, that's like an AI all-star team they're assembling.
Pretty much. It suggests Meta believes that at the end of the day, human talent is still the biggest bottleneck in the AI race. They're trying to concentrate that brain power.
It makes you wonder, though, is this sustainable? Could it create a brain drain from other important areas, or maybe even some kind of talent bubble?
That's a really good question. It certainly shows businesses how critical talent acquisition is in AI right now. It's driving up costs across the board. But investors seem to like the strategy. Meta's stock recently hit an all-time high, $747.90.
So the market believes spending big on talent is the right move for AI leadership.
Okay.
So we have powerful new models like Grok 4 and this intense battle for the people who build them. What about the tools actually reaching everyday users? Anything new on that front?
Yes, definitely. Our final story today is about Google making some pretty sophisticated, creative AI tools much more accessible.
Oh, yeah. What's Google rolling out?
They've just updated their Gemini app with a really cool new feature, photo to video generation. It uses their VO3 model.
Photo to video. So you give it a picture and it makes a video out of it.
Basically, yeah. You upload a still image, give it a text prompt describing what you want to happen, and it generates an 8-second video clip, complete with sound.
Whoa. Okay, that sounds fun. Like you could take a photo of your pet and make it look like it's talking or something.
Exactly. Or animate a drawing you made, add movement to a landscape photo, bring everyday objects to life. The possibilities are pretty wide open for creators or just, anyone wanting to experiment.
That could be huge for social media, for just playing around. Is it catching on?
Seems like it. Apparently over 40 million videos have already been generated using VO3 since it launched back in May. So, yeah. Pretty rapid adoption.
40 million. Okay, that's significant. What about businesses? Could they use this?
Absolutely. Think about quick content generation. transforming static product shots into dynamic little videos for ads or social media, making presentations more engaging. It lowers the barrier to creating video content quite a bit.
But what about the realism? Can you tell it's AI generated?
The reports say the outputs are staggeringly realistic. It handles things like real-world physics and apparently has accurate lip-syncing capabilities too.
That's impressive. But it also makes you think about the whole fake news or deepfake issue, doesn't it? If AI can make super realistic videos easily.
That's a really crucial point. It definitely blurs the lines further between what's real and what's generated. It means all of us, need to be even more critical viewers of media online. Developing that digital literacy is becoming essential.
So how do you get access to this? Is it free? And what about safety measures?
It's part of Google's paid AI tiers. You need to be a Google AI Pro subscriber, which is $19.99 a month, or AI Ultra, which is much pricier at $249.99 a month.
Okay, so not free, but the Pro tier isn't wildly expensive for someone who'd use it a lot.
Yeah.
Safety.
Google says they've built in safeguards. There's a visible VO watermark on the videos in the bottom right corner, plus an invisible digital watermark called Synthide embedded in the file.
And they're testing it for problems.
Yeah, they mentioned using red teaming, basically having internal teams try to misuse a tool or find flaws, like hackers would, so they can fix issues proactively.
Gotcha. So trying to be responsible about rolling out powerful tech.
Okay.
Okay, let's quickly recap the main stories we covered today from the Morning Star.
All right. First, we looked at XAI launching Grok 4. Super ambitious claims about being the most powerful AI, that PhD level intelligence, but also questions around its cost, its speed, and some past controversies. It's all part of a bigger strategic push.
Right. Then we shifted to Meta's incredible spending spree to hire top AI talent. Tens, maybe hundreds of millions in compensation, poaching big names, all driven by Zuckerberg personally. It's reshaping the tech talent market.
And finally, we talked about Google putting powerful creative tools in more hands with the Gemini app's new photo-to-video feature using VO3. Makes video creation much easier, great for creators and businesses, but also raises those important questions about realism and media literacy.
So across the board, we're seeing AI advancing rapidly. Fierce competition for the experts who build it, and these increasingly powerful tools becoming available, changing how we create and consume content. It really shows how interconnected all this tech development is with our daily lives.
It definitely does. It brings up so many possibilities, but also things we need to think carefully about as these tools become more common.
Absolutely. Seeing these huge leaps in AI capability and the intense focus on building even smarter systems, it makes you wonder, where is this ultimately heading? Are we building tools that will free up human creativity for totally new things, or is the main focus becoming the AI itself? Something to think about.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.